It was a humid summer evening in Brooklyn, July 1989. Mike Tyson was at the absolute peak of his powers, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world with a record of 37 wins and 0 losses. He'd just defended his title against Carl Williams, knocking him out in the first round, and he was back in his old neighborhood of Brownsville for a few days, visiting the places where he grew up, reconnecting with the streets that had shaped him before Customato found him and changed his life forever. Tyson had decided to walk through the neighborhood alone that evening. No bodyguards, no entourage, just him in a plain t-shirt and jeans, a baseball cap pulled low over his eyes. He wanted to feel normal for a few hours, to remember what life was like before the fame, before the millions, before the whole world knew his face. He was walking down a side street near the old projects where he used to live when he heard shouting up ahead. A woman's voice, frightened and pleading, 3 male voices, aggressive and mocking. Tyson's instincts, honed by years of street fighting before he ever put on boxing gloves, immediately kicked in. He quickened his pace, rounding the corner to see what was happening. What he saw made his blood run cold. 3 men, probably in their mid-20s, had cornered a young woman against a chain-link fence. She was visibly pregnant, maybe 7 or 8 months along, one hand protectively cradling her belly, the other held up defensively. The men were circling her like predators, laughing, making crude comments, one of them reaching out to grab her arm. The woman was crying, trying to push past them, but they kept blocking her path. "Please, just let me go home," she begged. "I don't want any trouble." One of the men, tall and wearing a red tank top, laughed. "We just want to talk to you, beautiful. Why are you being so unfriendly?" His friend, shorter but stocky with a shaved head, grabbed her purse strap. "Yeah, maybe you got something in here for us. A donation for being so entertaining." The third man, wearing a Knicks jersey, reached toward her belly. "And what you got in there? Gonna be another little ghetto kid? Maybe we should teach you a lesson about bringing more problems into this neighborhood." The woman's eyes went wide with terror. She tried to scream, but the man in the red tank top clamped his hand over her mouth. "Big mistake, sweetheart. Nobody around here cares about your screaming. This is Brownsville. People mind their own business." That's when Mike Tyson stepped into the streetlight about 20 feet away. His voice cut through the evening air like a blade, quiet but carrying absolute authority. "Let her go." The 3 men turned, annoyed at the interruption. The one in the red tank top, clearly the leader, sized up Tyson quickly. He saw a short, muscular guy in a baseball cap, nobody he recognized in the dim light. "Get lost, man. This ain't your business." Tyson took 3 steps closer, now about 10 feet away. The streetlight caught his face more clearly, but the men still didn't recognize him. "I'm making it my business," Tyson said. "Take your hands off her and walk away." The stocky one with the shaved head laughed. "Oh, we got a hero here. You want some of this too? You want us to put you on the ground next to this girl?" The man in the Knicks jersey pulled something from his pocket, a knife, small but visible in the streetlight. He flicked it open with a practiced motion. "Last chance, hero. Walk away or we're gonna have a problem." The pregnant woman was sobbing now, terrified not just for herself but for the stranger who was trying to help her. "Please," she said to Tyson, "just go. They'll hurt you. Call the police. Just go." But Tyson didn't move. He stood there, completely calm, his hands at his sides. He tilted his head slightly, studying the 3 men the way he studied opponents before a fight, measuring them, calculating. Then he spoke again, his voice even quieter than before. "I'm going to give you one more chance. Let her go. Put the knife away and leave. If you do that right now, you walk away with nothing but a story to tell. If you don't, what happens next is on you." The man in the red tank top stepped forward, chest puffed out. "And what exactly is going to happen, little man? You going to fight all 3 of us? You got a death wish?" Tyson reached up slowly and removed his baseball cap. The streetlight illuminated his face fully for the first time. The reaction was instantaneous. The man in the Knicks jersey gasped audibly. "Oh, shit." The stocky one with the shaved head took an involuntary step backward. "No way." The leader in the red tank top went pale, his aggressive posture crumbling. His mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. "You know who I am?" Tyson asked calmly. All 3 men nodded, terrified. "Good," Tyson said. "Now you understand the situation you're in. You've got a pregnant woman cornered, you've threatened her, you've pulled a knife on her, and now you've threatened me. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to apologize to this woman. Then you're going to walk away and never come back to this street. If I ever hear about you bothering her again, or anyone else in this neighborhood, I will find you. Do you understand? The man with the knife looked at it in his hand like he'd forgotten he was holding it. His hand was shaking so badly the blade was trembling. He slowly closed it and shoved it back in his pocket. We didn't know, man. We didn't know it was you. We were just messing around. Messing around? Tyson's voice got harder. You were terrorizing a pregnant woman. You were going to rob her. Maybe worse. That's not messing around. That's being a predator. That's being the worst kind of coward. The leader tried to salvage some dignity. Look, Mr. Tyson, we're sorry. We made a mistake. We'll just go. We won't bother nobody. Tyson took another step forward. Now he was close enough to touch them. All three men flinched backward. I didn't say you could go yet. I said you're going to apologize to her. Turn around and apologize now. The three men turned to face the pregnant woman, who was staring at the scene in shock. Sorry, the leader mumbled. The stocky one nodded. Yeah, we're sorry. The one with the knife couldn't even make eye contact. Sorry, ma'am. Tyson wasn't satisfied. Louder. And mean it. Look her in the eyes and apologize for scaring her, for threatening her child, for making her feel unsafe in her own neighborhood. The leader's voice cracked. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for scaring you, for what we said, for everything. We were wrong. We're sorry about your baby, too. We shouldn't have said those things. The other two echoed similar apologies, their tough guy personas completely shattered. The pregnant woman, still shaking, nodded slightly, too overwhelmed to speak. Tyson looked at each man in turn. Let me tell you something about strength. Real strength isn't about intimidating people who can't fight back. It's not about using numbers or weapons to feel powerful. Real strength is protecting people who need protection. It's standing up for what's right even when it's hard. You three, you're not strong. You're weak. You're pathetic. And if you ever want to be anything other than pathetic, you need to change who you are. The man in the Knicks jersey was crying now. We'll change, Mr. Tyson. I swear, we didn't mean nothing by it. Tyson's expression didn't soften. You meant everything by it. Don't lie to me and don't lie to yourself, but I'm going to give you a chance to prove you can be better. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave right now. Tomorrow morning, each of you is going to find a job if you don't have one already. You're going to stop hanging around street corners looking for people to victimize, and you're going to check in with the community center on Atlantic Avenue every week for the next 6 months. Tell them Mike Tyson sent you. They'll give you something productive to do. If you don't show up, I'll hear about it, and then I'll come find you. The three men nodded frantically. We'll do it, we promise. One more thing, Tyson said. See this woman? He gestured toward the pregnant woman. If I find out you ever came near her again, if I find out you ever even looked in her direction, there won't be a second conversation. There won't be a warning. Do you understand what I'm telling you? The men understood perfectly. The implicit threat was clear, and coming from the heavyweight champion of the world, it was absolutely credible. We understand, the leader said. We'll never bother her again. We'll never bother anybody again. Now get out of here, Tyson said. And remember, I know this neighborhood. I grew up here. People tell me things. I'll know if you keep being who you were tonight. The three men practically ran down the street, stumbling over each other in their hurry to escape. Within seconds, they disappeared around the corner. The street went completely silent. Tyson turned to the pregnant woman, his expression immediately softening. Are you okay? Did they hurt you? The woman shook her head, tears streaming down her face. No, I'm okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you hadn't come, I don't know what would have happened. Tyson gently took her arm. Come on, let me walk you home. Where do you live? Just 2 blocks from here, she said. I was coming back from my sister's house. I didn't think it would be dangerous. This is my neighborhood. I've lived here my whole life. I know, Tyson said as they started walking. I grew up here too. But it's different now, more dangerous. You shouldn't be walking alone, especially not when you're about to have a baby. As they walked, the woman kept glancing at him. I can't believe Mike Tyson just saved me. My husband is never going to believe this. He watches all your fights. He's going to lose his mind when I tell him. When is the baby due? Tyson asked. 6 weeks, she said, one hand on her belly. It's a boy. We're going to name him Marcus. That's a good name, Tyson said. Strong name. Make sure he grows up to be the kind of man who protects people, not the kind who hurts them. I will, she promised. After tonight, I'll make sure he knows the difference. They reached her apartment building, a small walk-up with graffiti on the walls, but bars on the windows for security. The woman turned to Tyson. Thank you again. I don't know how to repay you for what you did. You don't owe me anything, Tyson said. Just take care of yourself and that baby, and if those guys ever bother you again, or if anyone else does, you call the police. Don't try to handle it yourself. I will, she said. She hesitated, then asked, Why did you help me? You could have just walked away like everyone else does around here. Tyson was quiet for a moment, thinking, because I remember what it was like to feel powerless in this neighborhood. I remember being scared, being hungry, being alone. Someone helped me when I needed it. A man named Cus D'Amato saw something in me worth saving. If he hadn't, I'd probably be dead or in prison right now. So when I see someone who needs help, I help them. It's that simple. The woman smiled through her tears. You're a good man, Mr. Tyson. Thank you for being here tonight. Tyson nodded and turned to leave, pulling his baseball cap back on. Be safe, he said, and walked back into the Brooklyn night. The story of what happened that evening spread through Brownsville like wildfire. By the next morning, everyone in the neighborhood knew that Mike Tyson had confronted 3 men who were harassing a pregnant woman, that he'd made them apologize, that he'd sent them to the community center to get their lives together. And true to his word, Tyson followed up. He called the community center the next day, told them 3 young men would be coming in and to give them work, keep them busy, and report back if they didn't show up. All 3 men showed up, and they kept showing up week after week. The leader eventually got a job at a local grocery store. The stocky one started working construction. The one with the knife enrolled in trade school to become an electrician. They weren't perfect, but they were trying, and that was because Mike Tyson had given them a choice that night, change or face consequences that terrified them more than anything else in their lives. Years later, in 1995, Tyson received a letter at his gym. It was from a woman named Patricia Morrison. She reminded him of the night in July 1989 when he'd saved her from 3 men on a Brooklyn street. She included a photo of herself with a young boy, maybe 5 or 6 years old. This is Marcus, she wrote. He's healthy, he's smart, and he's kind. Every night before bed, I tell him the story of how Mike Tyson saved his mother and made sure he got to be born safe. I tell him that real strength means protecting people, just like you taught me. Thank you for being there that night. Thank you for showing those men mercy instead of violence. And thank you for proving that heroes are real. Mike Tyson kept that letter in his locker for years. When reporters asked him about it, about that night in Brooklyn, he would always say the same thing. I didn't do anything special. I just did what anyone should do when they see someone in trouble. But those who understood Tyson, who knew his story, knew the truth. That night in Brooklyn wasn't just about saving one woman. It was about Mike Tyson, a kid from the streets who'd become the most feared fighter in the world, using his power not to destroy, but to protect. It was about a man who could have knocked all 3 of those men unconscious in seconds, choosing instead to give them a chance to be better. Because Mike Tyson understood something that night that took him years to fully articulate. Real power isn't about how hard you can hit. It's about knowing when not to hit at all. And sometimes the greatest victory isn't the one that happens in the ring. It's the one that happens on a quiet Brooklyn street when 3 potential criminals become 3 changed men, and a pregnant woman and her unborn child make it home safe because someone cared enough to step in when no one else would.